So one of the big things that we like to do, and I think we've been successful at doing, is raising awareness for Down syndrome and reaching as many people as we can and showing and promoting the upside of Down syndrome. And just because you have a child with Down syndrome doesn't mean your life is going to be any different than anyone. You're going to learn so much more. You're going to be challenged in ways you never thought you would be challenged, and it's going to bring a certain happiness to your life that you would never have expected.
My husband and I have a little boy that is 7 years old now, and when we had him, it was just the most exciting day ever. We had all our family come over and just nothing but happiness. And then we decided that we were ready to expand our family and have another baby. And inside, I really always wanted to have a little girl. We ended up finding out that I was right. We were having a little girl, and so from that point on, I just started planning her entire life out, from her wedding to prom, just all our girl time that we would have together. And on January 19th of 2014 is when our life changed. I had a C-section for Ella, and so when I saw her, it was just for a few seconds, and she was just beautiful and perfect, and then they whisked her away. So the next morning, the pediatrician comes in the room, and when she walked in, I could just see it all over her face. She said, "Ella has Down syndrome." And when she said that, it was like our life completely changed.
So we had two little girls, and we were debating going back and forth about whether we wanted to have a third child. We finally got pregnant, and we were so excited. Of course, being a man, Bo really wanted a son. Since we had two girls, of course I would have loved a son, but I really just wanted a healthy baby. I think that's what all moms want. I'll never forget, we go to see our doctor, we find out the sex, and lo and behold, we found out that we were having a little boy. As far as we knew, everything was fine. There was nothing wrong with Spencer, and so we go in for a C-section, and I have the baby, and I'll never forget, but he was very small, and I knew that was different than my girls. And what I also knew, something may not be right, because the nurses took him away to the nursery. I was still in my hospital bed in my recovery room, and that's when the doctor came in, and he had his head down, and it took him a few minutes to speak, and I knew things were not okay. And the first thing out of his mouth was, "I'm sorry, we think your child has Down syndrome."
When I found out I was having a little girl, I just felt like we had just such a perfect family. We had me and my husband, and then we had my little dog and my son, and we had a little girl that was going to complete our family, just a perfect little family. And I just feel like all of that just came crashing down. And I felt a lot of guilt. I didn't know how she got Down syndrome. I didn't know what that meant, and so I just blamed myself. I just thought, what did I do wrong? What did I do to deserve this?
What originally, when we found out we were having a son, was very exciting. In those minutes after his birth, we felt like the world was crumbling upon us.
It was one night, it was a few months later, that I thought back to the experience that we had with my son and just how it was so happy. I go back to look at pictures, and there was two photos the night that I had Ella, and I just felt like I was completely robbed of that joy that we could have experienced, the same joy that we had with my son. And so that's when I told my husband, what can we do to change this? What can we do to give everyone else a new experience? At that point, we had my daughter for a few months, so we just saw how truly blessed we were to have our daughter. And I just wanted to go back to that day when we received the diagnosis and just shake myself and just say, "You're so blessed, you're so lucky. She is gonna just change your life for the better." So then we started talking about gift baskets and just throwing that idea around, and how can we get someone to see all of the positive in this. So we thought of the gift basket. So we include some baby items in there and gift cards. And my husband and I wrote a letter to the families, and that's the purpose of the basket, is because when we had my daughter, we just felt like, although people were telling us, "You're gonna be okay, you're gonna be fine," that no one else understood what we were going through. No one else could ever feel the way we felt. And we just wanted to let families know that you're not alone. You're gonna be okay, your life's gonna go on. And that's why we started Ella's Endeavor. We just wanted families to know that they truly are lucky. We're the lucky ones.
When we were transferred to Baton Rouge at the NICU, that is when we received a basket from Ella's Endeavor. We were not expecting it. The social worker came in and brought us this basket. And at that time, we had so many emotions: anger, guilt, confusion, and feeling alone and helpless. And so whenever we opened up Ella's Endeavor's basket, it just brought so much hope to us. We got to read her story when Ella was born and why they started the baskets, and that really was the turning point in our lives.
Our goal is we don't want families to be robbed of that joy. You're still having a baby and they're still your little one, and those are the days that you just can't get back. You can't ever go back to that day and feel that excitement. And that's what our goal of our baskets are, just to show families how truly blessed they are at a time that seems very scary.
When we received our basket from Ella's Endeavor, it was something that neither Michelle and I had expected, but it was one of those gestures that really touched us. And we didn't want to start reading books and figuring out all the details or scientific information about what Down syndrome was. This basket was more of, you're not alone, we're here for you, and there's a huge family out there that's ready to support you. And it's still a baby. Enjoy that time period of having a newborn baby. We're so excited to announce that beginning this summer, Ella's Endeavor will be a part of Upside Downs. Our basket program will now be named Ella's Endeavor, and our goal is to be in every hospital by the end of the year and reach as many families going through the same journey we've all been on, and giving them some comfort and some understanding and letting them know that you're not alone in this journey.